I'm Colin.
And I'm Megan.
And this is
Pet Sitter Confessional, an open and honest discussion about life as a pet sitter.
Welcome back to another episode, everybody. This recording, it is the 7th, and so some things may change between now and whenever you're listening to this, but we are so happy to have Darcey on with us from Up Dog LA. She brought her on to talk about how being in California and the lockdowns and everything from COVID-19 has affected her and her business and some things that she's doing to get through it and look for a light at the end of the tunnel. So Darcey, again, thank you for coming on today amidst all this chaos and everything.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Yeah. So could you please tell us a little bit about yourself and your business?
Yeah. Well, growing up, I grew up in Idaho, and my life started with horses. So I was a professional equestrian until I was about 12, and still had a horse until I was about 18. But then I was a DJ music producer for 23 years, traveling the world, and then I went to the dogs, back to a more earthy, structured life. I just feel it suits me so much better. And the dogs. I was actually in post-production school in San Francisco and ended up down here in LA toward the end of that. And while looking for post-production work down here, I was walking dogs for the pet staff, which at the time was one of the biggest dog walking agencies in all of LA and the Valley. And I loved it. I loved being outside. And I'm a very outdoorsy, physical person anyways, more than sitting in a closed room editing video all day, which, was also a passion of mine. But being outside with the dogs, I loved it. And through that, within 3 years, I had my own business.
Wow.
That's cut out all the other stuff and the in-betweens. Yeah. Within 3 years, I was up and running my own business by 2014.
Wow. That's great. So it's been, so you've been in business for 6 years ish right now?
Yeah.
That's really cool. So you do dog walking. What other kind of services do you offer?
We started with dog walking, which was just me in the beginning. And then Sylvia West, my now head trainer, I just made head trainer this year because I can't do everything myself. She's been with me since a year after I started. She's like my right-hand person in the business. She came in about a year after I started, and we were doing walks, overnight sitting. She does big, huge socialization group hikes, and I do dog park 3 days a week also. And then we also do overnight sits. And as we got busier, I could no longer do overnight sits, and we started bringing on more staff. And then pretty soon the staff, I had to have them do overnight sits because I can't be away from my office overnight. And so I started inviting dogs over to my house, and through the holidays, sometimes I'll have up to 8 dogs at my house dog boarding.
Oh, wow. Wow, so you got a little bit of everything going on there.
We do a lot of things, and over the last couple of years, we've been doing a lot of training as well. And so we also do board and train. This year, we also brought on our puppy specialist, Jen Dawn. And she does a lot of board and train puppies and does puppy daycare, which is all training and socialization. She does only 6 months and under. She's very specialized, and she's amazing. And my head trainer, she's doing puppy classes at Pet Food Express in Beverly Hills, which is closed right now, no doubt. So anyway, I'm gonna be going on and on. I'm gonna end up running into all your other questions.
Oh no, that's fine. That's fine. No, I love hearing about that.
I will answer them all in one long run-on sentence. I'm good at that.
That's great. So you were in business for 6 years, and then the COVID-19 pandemic started sweeping the globe. And so I'm curious how your business has been affected and kind of the timeline for how things have shaken out.
Yeah, it's been interesting. First, we had a couple clients drop out as they were going to be home working. Some luckily were home working. And so, I ended up still paying out my staff for that as people started trickling off, I continued to pay my staff because I was able to, gratefully, and very thankful for that. And then when it was like absolute lockdown, I sent out a mass email to all of our clients and was like, I'm not going to risk our staff putting them out on the field. And, we'll see what the future holds. We're here for you. And we'll touch back around in that couple of weeks. Because there was still a few people that wanted us to continue. But they were working at home. They just really wanted to support us. And we've also, seriously, we have the best clients. So grateful. Some of them continued to pay out through the end of March, even though we were no longer walking their dogs. I have a couple other clients that have been like, we've budgeted to still support you through April with your normal scheduled walks. And it's just, that's amazing. So when lockdown actually hit, I definitely sent out an email also to my staff. They are all independent contractors.
Okay.
And I was able to at least pay them out 2 weeks in advance. That was the least I could do. That was the initial lockdown too, was for 2 weeks. So I was just like, stay home, everybody. And I paid everybody out 2 weeks in advance. And then we all just kind of sat tight to see what's going to happen. Now it's been just over 2 weeks. I sent out another email to all my staff. I called them staff, and I guess legally they're independent contractors. You cannot call them staff. Yeah. So all my contractors, I feel like we're a team. But they work hard and I love them. So I just sent them out a link for an independent contractor unemployment that they may be eligible for. And I was really glad that I found out about that so that I could send them something to hopefully help them. Most of them do have other jobs as well that they will be getting unemployment from. But the other ones, I just wanted to make sure everyone's taken care of. A couple of them took off. One, her mom flew her back to Houston so fast. It was like, she was like, you're getting, and I'm like, oh my God, you're going through an airport. Are you crazy?
Yeah.
But it's been 2 weeks and she's still healthy. So I'm glad for that. She's an amazing person. I would hate to lose her. And the rest, the couple of us here, I have been able to do a little bit of very, very careful I have a house with a backyard, fortunately, and there are some restless dogs. I've still had some clients reach out to me and check up on me too and my team, and that's very thoughtful and sweet. And as I've also been in touch with a few more personally as well, and have had some little play dates in my backyard. It's all
nice.
Yeah, so it's all like curbside pickup or drop off. We use our own leashes, and some dogs that are, off leash trained and aren't going to take off. We don't even have them put a harness or anything on them. I will just, have them follow me to the backyard. Nobody enters my home, and being that I have just reached out to all the clients again with this 2 week mark up. And it's still going. It will be for a while. I actually had some clients just today come back around and be like, yes, we'd love to have some play dates with our dogs, especially my dog park dogs. They want to run and play, not just go for a walk.
Yeah.
So, little babies. So they're all getting a little cooped up. And so in the next couple of weeks, although we are, like I said, being absolutely cautious. I have an N95 mask, and bandanas. I did not steal the N95 mask from our supply chain. It was in my toolbox.
Okay. You do have to make clarifications like that these days, but that's,
And I drew a little dog face on it.
Oh, precious. Yes.
Wondering why people are looking at me when I'm in the grocery store. I'm like, oh yeah.
Right. What's your, it's me. That's what that is. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I have a face on my mask.
Right.
So we are being exceptionally cautious, and we are going to be actually taking on a few walks in the next coming week after all this rain we're having.
Sure. Well, that's good that you've found ways to continue to provide service to those who need it or want it for the time being.
Yeah. And, I just have a few girls here in town that really want to work right now as much as they can. And I made sure they all have gloves. They all have, actually, I got them all leashes for Christmas. So we all have spare leashes.
Nice.
And, they all get dog stuff in their little dog Santa bags. Nice. Then my head trainer, she's doing more virtual training. All of our puppy and adult group classes, she is doing virtual training, donation only, every Saturday from 1 to 2:30.
Wow.
So that's
really
what
cool.
She's been doing. Yeah. And we still have some training clients. I've actually done a little bit of training where, I don't even touch their gate, and I go back, and when I get out of my car, I put my gloves on, and because we are both handling a leash sometimes, but we are working across the yard from each other.
Sure.
I never enter someone's home, and as much as possible, I use my own leash. Like sometimes when we're playing come games, we're working on recall, we don't even have to use a leash. But I still have my gloves on just because they're less support. You don't collect as much as fingers as well.
Right.
So
and you can take those off. Yeah, and
I can take the gloves off, which I do as soon as I leave the gate, and I put them in a garbage outside front of her house before I even touch my doorknob.
Sure. So not that anyone could really have seen this coming, but kind of thinking back a little bit and kind of how you've handled this situation, how would you say that your business was or maybe wasn't prepared for something like this?
You know what? I am so happy and grateful that I have built a solid team. I've built this business and had savings and always have a reserve so that even if I didn't have any income for a month, I'd be able to pay my staff if they were working and something happened, God forbid, in my bank, I don't know. So if something happened, I always have a reserve to pay my staff.
Right.
And, I'm getting ready to possibly throw them each, a couple $100 more. And I have a staff of 7, so it adds up quick.
Yeah, that does.
So, I do what I can and still want to help them, especially until they get unemployment. And I'm grateful. Like, I'll be okay for months. And with taxes being extended through July, I'll be okay. And, sure. And now that we have even just a few clients here and there and a little bit of things trickling in, I am grateful that I had that reserve, and I'm grateful that my business is spread out. I don't do just walks.
Yeah.
We do the overnights, the sits, and I have a dog. I have a dog here. I cannot say what actor's dog I have. But she's in serious lockdown, and I had the dog a week before lockdown, and then I got a call. They don't want to have to meet a human being and have me exchange her and touch her leash or her harness or anything and take any chances. So I have this little pup here that's, a steady little income stream boarding her for possibly another month.
Oh, wow. Well, that's a silver lining to that, I guess.
Yeah, totally. And I actually had a board and train dog here all last week.
Oh, nice.
So I still, and the more that I can keep myself afloat with stuff that even comes directly to me financially, that helps keep my reserves steady so that I can, possibly keep handing out, a little here and there for my contractors.
Yeah.
Which makes me feel good because I know that I'll be, fairly okay, and even longer if I have a little stream of things here and there, even though it's less than 30%, but every little bit helps.
Right. That's where we're all right now is going. Every little bit does help. And, you mentioned having a rock star team and having these savings and reserves just for not necessarily a situation just like this. You would have seen this coming, but there was some planning and foresight there. And then, I love how you also mentioned that having diverse business options that you have, and you've been flexible in what you can't provide and how you provide those services along the way.
Yep. Really grateful for that. And I'm not a business person.
Sure.
I'm all dogs, but yeah.
Yeah.
Glad that I at least doing something right, I guess.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And it's one of those things of who would have known, who could have foreseen, but thankful that it was there. Yeah. So as these things start to slowly shut down, and I know you touched a little bit this of as the orders started coming in and the lockdown started looming, what were some moves or decisions that you made pretty early on in the process that you're thankful for? And then I know you also mentioned that you continue to take care of your independent contractors, which I think is just wonderful.
I was definitely, when things, before the lockdown, I was checking in with clients one at a time to kind of feel them out, if they thought they were going to still want us to come, and see where things were at so I could mentally and possibly financially prepare all my contractors. I just want to call them my teammates because they really are.
Yeah.
I think of them more as just my walkers or, my workers.
Yeah.
We definitely work together. So I definitely, had to kind of let them know one at a time. There were a few surprises where some people dropped off right away really early. But I did the best I could just to let staff know what was possibly coming. And then I just sent out a mass email to everybody all of a sudden with lockdown and at least told everybody just stay home, paid for a couple weeks and see what happens. And with the clients, I just kind of kept in touch with them to see where they were at, as things went until I shut everything down, just to try to check my staff. Some of them still wanted to work. Some clients were still like, oh, we would have still had you. But I was just like, I saw the news and I was like, oh my God.
Nope.
And I just, I was like, I don't know. Even though this can be, that's one thing to put out there for other businesses as well, though, is to some degree, this is considered a necessary business. Mm-hmm. And it becomes necessary, especially with seniors that really can't get their dogs out as well.
Right.
As often. So there's a little bit of that, and people with disabilities. So there's certain situations where pet care does become a necessity, therefore a necessary business.
Sure. I'm curious, did you have, or was there any sort of blowback or pushback from people towards businesses that were or weren't shutting down along the way? And did you experience any concern from people that you were shutting down or that it wasn't that big of a deal or anything like that?
Everyone's been so supportive. I have had zero blowback at all.
That's awesome.
And I was wondering if I was going to get blowback actually with saying, oh, some of my staff, doesn't mind walking with these restrictions that we will put in place. I was expecting maybe a little blowback with that. What are you doing? Still having staff out? Nothing.
Right.
And I do I'm really tight with a lot of we have 92 regular clients. And I'm fairly close with a lot of them. And so they know my intentions as a human being. And I think they all know how greatly I care about them and my staff.
Sure. Yeah, that's so important at these kind of moments in history of having that trust and understanding for the people that you're working with and that you surround yourself with.
Mm-hmm. I'm really grateful for that. I have some great relationships. Some of my staff, they see me more than any of my friends do. I end up, going to some galas on occasion and some Christmas and Hanukkah parties and
nice
big summer barbecues So I'm blessed with some amazing clients.
Oh, that's wonderful. And kind of along the way, you mentioned that you're in touch with both clients and your walkers and your team members. I'm wondering how you've communicated this process to them and how you've maybe helped assured them that, you're still in this for the long haul and that you'll be there for them whenever this all is done.
Well, I just sent them all an email last night.
Okay, yeah.
Actually, just checking in with them because I know one's very far away in Houston, and she's one of my top walkers. My head trainer's out in Temecula at their parents' Airbnb.
Nice.
Her and her husband are far away quarantining out there in beautiful wine country. So there's actually just a small bit of us left here, and everybody's been really flexible, and we're all just kind of supporting each other. And I even told my clients, if you need toilet paper, I'm here for you. You know, because we've built relationships with these people, and so I'm just trying to be clear, communicating, and do what I can to get them any work that may be available for them and support them any way I can. They've all been pretty flexible and open overall.
Well, that makes that I'm sure a lot easier on you as far as the burden of providing and caring and being there for them as well in return.
Yeah, and they know that schedules are probably going to change. We probably won't have quite as many dogs coming back. It might be not regular schedules, but instead of 5 days a week, it might be a couple hikes a week, or depending on who's still working and who isn't.
Yeah,
and the energy level of their dogs. And a lot of people, they had us just because they really liked us, and it was just an extra adventure for their dog.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just something nice for them to do. Yeah.
Not because they're not home all day,
Right,
so,
yeah.
But we'll see, because those might be some situations that may change, where they might still want to get their dog in rotation, but it's not going to be a regular thing. That's kind of what I expect to happen a little bit. So I expect things to be a little slower, and it'll be we'll be rebuilding, but we're not going anywhere. That's for sure.
Yeah,
I can definitely assure everyone that.
Yeah, awesome. Earlier, you mentioned that you had sent a link out to your team members with some information for them for financial support as being an independent contractor. What other kind of loans or programs have you looked into for your business, if any? And what kind of stuff have you learned along the way with that?
Actually, I didn't even think about it, since I know I'll be okay for a few months.
Okay.
With my own savings and such. But then my mom last night was like, "Don't use your savings. You need to, there's grants out there." And of course, my thought is I would rather save the grants for people that are desperate and can't survive without it.
Sure.
That's my train of thought. I mean, that's my mindset. I don't want to spend my savings either. It's my life savings, but this is a life situation, and I'm grateful that I have a savings. Otherwise I would be stressed out trying to get one of those loans or a grant, because there's also grants out there. I definitely don't want a loan. I don't want to take on any debt that I don't need to. A grant maybe, but I feel okay right now. So
right now,
I would rather let other people have that money that really, really are desperate and need it, honestly.
Yeah, and give it time and just see how things start to pan out. And if this starts looking into a 4-month, 6-month thing, then we will have to reassess it.
Then I may have to reassess. Yes.
Yeah. Oh.
And then I'll be like, man, why didn't I reach out for that grant in the beginning? Now all the money's used up.
Right. Why didn't I listen to my mom? Oh no. Not again.
Exactly.
Well, thinking about the future and kind of down the road, you mentioned it a little bit about how you foresee maybe the rebuilding process, but I'm wondering maybe how you think this is going to change, if at all, how you operate your business moving forward.
Maybe have clients really be on them about paying their invoices more promptly.
Okay.
I'm still chasing you. I really don't have to chase anybody typically, but then I have found a few since I've had time to comb through the inner workings of my invoicing system and such. Yeah, maybe I'd be a little more on that. But I think I don't know if there's anything I would change, honestly.
Okay.
I just know it's going to be a slow rebuild, and that will come, especially when Pet Food Express in Beverly Hills reopens our puppy classes and our group classes in general. We get an influx of business through that as well. And I just know it's going to be time. Yeah. And I'm sure there'll be a few staff changes. You know, who knows if one of my top walkers will come back from Houston.
Sure.
But I would miss her greatly. I hope she comes back. But we still got a few strong teammates up here, and we will definitely make it work. But I don't really see anything changing except for just, kind of starting to rebuild a little bit again.
Yeah. Well, that's good. And I love the outlook that you have and the optimism that you have about rebuilding, and with your strong foundation and your wonderful team members that you have around you, that you're able, you're in a wonderful position to be able to do that and continue to provide service along the way. I know that brings me hope, and I hope that brings hope to other listeners as well.
Me too. Expand your businesses, people. If you can go beyond walks, it will help you tremendously.
Well, Darcey, thank you for coming on today and sharing about kind of the inner workings of how you've been affected, and again, that wonderful outlook that you have for the future. I'm sure many people you're going to want to get in touch, maybe ask some follow-up questions. So how can people follow along with you and get in touch?
They can follow and get in touch with me through Instagram at Up Dog LA. Also, you can see more details of the business, and all emails go to me through the website, which is updog.la. You can reach me through any of that.
Oh, wonderful.
Follow us on Twitter, and I'll be posting this on there.
Okay. Well, wonderful.
Again, Instagram.
Instagram. It's all the same eventually, I think.
Right.
Okay. Well, it's been wonderful talking with you, and would love to have you on again whenever this all does start to pick back up, and check in and see how you're doing. So thank you again,
Sounds
Darcey.
Good. Thank you as well. Good luck with everything.
Darcey's laugh and optimism are so contagious. She's all about communicating and being upfront and honest with both her clients and her team members. That was a huge part of her response to what was going on around her. Her quick actions in shutting everything down and then slowly building up essential services to those who really need it shows just how flexible she was willing to be for the long haul. I know Megan and I are thinking about expanding services that we offer so that we have more to fall back on if something like this happens in the future. We are working on recording multiple episodes every week, so make sure you're subscribed wherever you're listening so that you never miss a new episode. Also, we want to hear from you, so we've set up a voicemail. Our number is 636-364-8260. Call us and let us know how you are doing and what you're dealing with right now. Thank you so much for listening. We really do appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to you again soon.